What's happening, people? Back with another reaction, and this time we're going to look at some more acid-trance. And indeed, we're going to look at a tune that perhaps is lesser known. I certainly haven't seen a lot of people comment on it on the Discogs page for the entry. Haven't seen a lot of people, in places like on YouTube where you see acid-trance and other 90s trance fans talk about tunes. Haven't seen too many people mention it. The reason I know this tune is because there was a couple NorCal DJs that started a label called Frequency 8. They were named Mars and Mystery. I'm not sure their real names as I sit here right now. They did a lot of very famous DJ sets up in the San Francisco sort of Bay Area, from what I understand. And again, I think Frequency 8 Records was in San Francisco. And again, or not again, one of them, Mystery, I had tapes by both of them, mixtapes, I mean. But in particular, I had one called The Mystery Machine by Mystery. That was excellent. And it had like one of those walkers from The Empire Strikes Back, the big Imperial, like, camel dog sort of walker things. That was a dope tape. I had The Electric Temple by Mars. That was a dope tape. So yeah, they were DJs that, even though I didn't really see them play, because I was down in the LA area sort of trance and techno scene, and didn't know anyone up in San Francisco to go stay with them or go check out their scene, I nevertheless got some of their tapes. And this track, which is called Gravel by an artist called Dark Lights, Darklits. I'm not sure too much whether it's a solo artist or a duo or a group, and I don't have any other Dark Lights material outside of this record, but this tune is excellent, and it fits very much into that sort of mid to late 90s acid trance sweet spot that I've been talking about for other artists like Coors and Pablo Gargano or so on. I think this tune fits very nicely into a set of that type of acid trance. So without further ado, we're going to listen to Dark Lights, Gravel, on the... Oh, and by the way, it's on the label Redweed. If you ever seen a Redweed release, my understanding is that a lot of it is sort of acid trance, maybe a little psychedelic trance. The releases I have seem to be mostly acid trance. But yeah, it's funny. The first time I saw this, I was like, wait, so the tune is called Over? Oh, yeah, I see. You're saying it's on the other side. Got it. Not sure I've seen too many labels do that, right over on one of the track titles so that it's on the flip side. Nevertheless, here we go. Dark Lights, Gravel. I believe it's 96. Let's make sure. All right, so Dark Lights. This is a 96 record. It's two people, Danny Shea and Julian Shea. Sounds like they might be brothers. Oh yeah, so From the Edge. So one of the guys, Danny, he was also in a group called From the Edge, and they have a record called Acid Friction, also on Redweed, which I also have. So apparently he was on the label in a few different names. Or with a few different names. But yeah, so we had that atmospheric intro, that sort of pulse. Kick comes in pretty quick. Very loud sort of clap. But it's pretty basic, right? Nothing too dramatic yet. Little acid mood setting. Kick drum in this tune is a major winner. A little rhythmic acid. Again, it's sort of a pulse. Different from the way it hits in that opening segment, but yeah, whether it's by itself or as part of the larger sonic structure, I really do like that acid pulse. But it's not the only acid we're going to hear, I assure you of that. remembering the Mars and Mystery, and I don't know if there were other people. I assume they weren't the only DJs or producers associated with Frequency 8. I think they were mainly DJs. I do think they brought in some people to do productions with them in a couple cases, because I believe some of, like, the Electric Blue, and there's another one, Save the Rave or something like that. I have them somewhere. I don't have too many Frequency 8 records, but I have those two. But I believe it was produced by, like, them with someone else. Nevertheless, the whole point here is that they styled the DJ mixes they did as cyber-trance, which I feel like, I get it, you know, you were like, have a very specific sound, it's melodic, but it's also like twisted and electric and whatever, but they were basically mixing acid trance, like, so it perturbs me a little bit that the word acid was not used. So yeah, I respect the idea of cyber trance, but for my mind, you were playing acid trance, and, you know, it's ultimately, we need to give the 303 credit. But yeah, like I said, I was a big fan of their mixes. I had a couple tapes by Mystery. I forget what the other one was called. And like I said, I know I had the Electric Temple by Mars. I think that might have been the only one I had. So I was a big fan. But like I said, you know, to me, cybertrance is acid trance. Maybe that's just a little terminological, like, bugaboo in my own brain. Filler track, but not as a pejorative, not in a bad way. Just, it's a tune that you use to set up another tune, or to bridge, like, two more, like, dramatic and big build-up sort of tunes. Like, you need to have those in the set. I feel like this could do a job. Listen to the acid though. It's hotting up. Focus on the acid riff is beautiful. The pulse coming back. There's like an even deeper, like, layer that really deep layer, which is already there right from the drop, and the pulse that, you know, was in the beginning and so on. Those two layers interact really well. It's like, it's low in the track, it's like, it's unpredictable. It's very 90s in how dynamic and sort of free-flowing it is. It's not like intro, breakdown, drop, second breakdown, drop, outro. It's like... chirping away now, like high accents. Cool that turn the temperature down thing, but very rapidly. So maybe one of those tunes, you get everything ready, you get it lined up, and you're ready, and then the moment it hits that last transition, when you turned everything down, that's when you kick in the new track to a higher degree. So yeah, maybe I'd like a little bit longer of an outro, but that's pretty much my only critical remark as I finish listening to that track. I've used it in mixes before, but even among my acid trance, it's not one that jumps out right away. Again, I'm a big Pablo Gargano fan. I'm a big Chorus fan. Kai Tracid, especially in his earlier monikers like Formic Acid or Acute Genius, stuff like that. So a tune like this is not a tune that, I'm going to spin an acid trance set, that jumps to my mind right away. But I really do think it's a sort of hidden gem or lesser known gem. I really think it's a good tune. Like I said, I think it has a solid acid trance filler sort of vibe. Again, just to clarify, not using that term as a pejorative. I'm using it as a description of a type of tune that I use in a particular place in a set to make the larger set work. But yeah, I just think it's great. It's, solid A. Nothing really to complain about, maybe minus the slightly truncated outro. But yeah, let me know if you enjoyed that. Let me know if you're an old school acid trancer and you like this kind of stuff, or if you know a little more about Mars or Mystery or so on. Like I said, I was in the LA area scene, so this was just sort of long distance. One of my friends, I think he was the one who had a Mystery tape and you should check these guys out. They spin the kind of stuff that you like. Because again, late 90s, I get turntables 98, and I'm trying to mix acid trance and some of the hard trance and acid techno. I've mentioned it before. Had a little bit harder time getting the real acid techno that I wanted until a little bit later, with a few exceptions. But I got more acid trance early on. But yeah, like I said, it was one of those things where I was trying to find a sound that was a little bit harder and more acid heavy than a lot of LA area trance DJs were spinning at the time, with some exceptions again. But yeah, when my friend played me the Mystery tape, I was like, ooh, yeah, this is exactly kind of what I'm looking for, that acid trance sound. And he's like, they call it cyber trance, which is, what I was talking about earlier. But yeah, so big ups to them, even though I never saw them spin a set. And I don't think they're still performing. I don't know about the status of Frequency 8 as a shop. I don't think they haven't released a record in a long time, I think. But either way, yeah, big ups to them for introducing me to this tune through one of their DJ mixtapes. That was super cool. So yeah, let me know if you like this. Let me know if you want to hear more acid trance. There's going to be some more regardless, but it's always nice to know if people are vibing with some of the tunes that I'm reacting to. Let me know if you're into this for the acid techno. There's obviously a lot more of that coming. I got more hardcore coming, so don't worry. I'm trying to satisfy all the musical pursuits in my brain, and sometimes I focus on one for a little bit, but then I jump to another one, and other times I'm going to be sort of going back and forth a little more frequently. So we'll just see where we go. But like I said, I'm going to try to cluster reactions based on trance on Monday, or at least tunes that are a little more melodic or otherwise atmospheric. Wednesday I'm going to try to do harder stuff like hardcore, hard acid, the harder end of acid techno, maybe hard house. And then Friday I'm going to really try to focus on acid techno, but again, different styles of acid techno, so that could mean different things depending on what's going on. So let me know if you're into that. Let me know if you're interested in these videos. I appreciate you for watching. Have a good day. Have a good night. I'll see you next time. Peace.